Oh, hi,
Interesting.
Ryan.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, how are you doing?
Huh. Looks like you're reading too. What a queaky dink.
I am reading. How interesting that we did not plan
Wow.
this at all. What are you reading, sir?
I'm reading about the Time CEO of the Year, Dr. Lisa Su.
Oh, who's that?
She's an engineer by trade, but she's celebrating 10 years as leader
CEO of what
of
company,
a company
Ryan?
called AMD. Yeah.
Oh, how
Also,
interesting.
Athlete of the Year, Caitlin Clark. I'm sure you've heard of her.
I have not,
She
actually.
plays the sports ball, is my understanding.
Oh, the sports ball. I like sports ball.
Professionally now.
I love sports. I'm a huge sports guy.
What you got going on your reading?
I'm reading The Quantum Decade, a fascinating expose from IBM about high technology. I'm studying in advance of the Sandbox 3.0 Expo Hall, which I will unveil at this year's Tech Exchange in October.
Well,
and apparently I'm quantuming in and out of this universe as I'm moving through
right? Through the miracle of technology.
Yes.
Welcome
naturally.
everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Week's End. It's your leading source of useless nerd knowledge. Highly recommend.
It's funny. It feels like it's been a year.
Has it?
But has it?
Oh wait, I guess these glasses
sure.
might be an indicator of. This is episode 101, ladies and gentlemen. So
yes,
really
it certainly
cool
is.
Stuff. So
definitely.
I guess we got a lot to talk about if it's been so long.
I think we do, actually.
First and foremost, I just want to say,
fascinating.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. Merry Christmas.
So I'm really
Happy
interested. We used
Happy
to
holidays.
do this thing where we talked about the holidays and we talked about our geeky gift haul. So I think we should bring that back. What do you think?
We did. Can we first talk about how you seem to be a very even brighter shade of white than you were the last time I saw you? You're glowing, my friend.
I'm glowing. Yes.
You're glowing.
I got to glow up.
I mean, a little bit of color would not hurt you.
Well, I know.
I don't know what's going on over there. You look like you're ready to step into Sonic 3.
It must be my weird lighting here. I'll try to adjust it while we're talking.
Fair enough. You work on that.
It's crazy. I think it's the bright lights, from the from my future. It's so bright. One would say
it is. It's also the press that are outside your window.
I might need to wear shades.
And the fans. They've got their lights on you.
I want to hear about your Christmas haul, dude, because I want to show you first and foremost. I got something called Grogu sensory slime. Apparently, it's like a ASMR or something. It's gonna help me like rediscover my chi and center myself in those stressful days in the office. I guess.
Very nice.
How about you?
Do you remember how big of a deal slime was when we were kids? Like, remember there was like He-Man slime and Ghostbusters slime. Was there?
It is making a huge comeback.
Does it smell like the slime used to smell? Remember, it was like cold to the touch and everything. I can't smell it.
Actually,
I'm in
Massachusetts.
You're in North. Oh, you're smelling it.
We're gonna see.
Okay, here we go. Oh, you haven't even opened it yet.
Oh, this is like an unboxing. This is turned into an unboxing, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so we're immediately going to have millions of viewers overnight.
It smells a bit like key lime pie. Interesting. Strangely, I'm hungry now, but I'm going to try hard not to eat this.
That's quite interesting.
What you got going on over there?
I got a Samsung Ring.
Oh, wow.
It tells me everything I already know.
Oh, cool. So it's more like it gives you a sense of confidence then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does. It is a remarkable device. Like, it's helping me track my sleep and my heart rate and stress levels and
that's really important.
All of the things that are good to know. It is a truly. I am a Samsung guy. I've got the watch. I've got the ring. I've got the phone. I've got the track, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. Oh, and I've got the headphone. I mean, I'm a Samsung guy.
I know you're in on Samsung. Driver. I'm hearing. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm all in on the Samsung platform, man.
I am now all in on the.
I like it a lot.
I was before, but I held out and I haven't ever bought AirPods, so I finally got AirPod 4. I'm with it now. Nice. They have noise cancellation, so now I can hang with the cool kids.
But these ones have lights on them. So that is it makes them even cooler.
I'm questioning
I don't know why it's not lighting up right now, but it is. I don't know. I like the Samsung.
Okay.
You know?
I just want to show you this.
What the hell is that?
It's the Krampus.
Oh.
But it's a mug. So you're like eating. It's like he's feeding you. Like it's kind of weird, right?
Look like an organ that had been torn
but kind of
from
cool at the same
body.
time, right? So it's Krampus. His horns are the handles, and then you drink
like
out of his mouth. It's.
All right. Speaking of that, I got an Nespresso machine, which I got to tell
you
changes the game. So I had a Keurig, which I estimate roughly has served about 15,000 cups of coffee since I got it. Like,
oh wow,
I don't fucking know, a long time ago.
That's pretty hardcore.
And, yeah, and I saw it. It's downstairs. Like, it's still in the house. It was like I couldn't bring myself to throw it out. Like, I think my son is gonna give it to his girlfriend or something. But I got an Nespresso, which, man, because I love coffee, and it just ups the game. The coffee, it is a little bit more expensive per pod. It's like, I think it's like 50 cents for a Keurig and 75 cents for, or I forget what, or 25 and 50, whatever it is.
Right.
But it's so worth it. The coffee is so good. And so this get a load of this, dude. You put a capsule in. It's not the little ones, it's the big ones. And it spins it at 7,000 RPM and reads.
What?
Yes. You can hear it. It sounds it sounds like I'm like trying to make plutonium for a bomb. But anyway, it spins it at 7,000 RPM, and it reads a barcode. So it makes, like, every different type of coffee has like a different pressure and amount of water and amount of heat and amount of everything that it does. So every single different type of capsule you use comes out the same every time. Fantastic coffee. Just fantastic.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Some of it's very strong.
Also on my reading list, or on my shelf.
You didn't care at all about my Nespresso.
I see.
You don't care.
I
get it. You don't care. You just want to talk about your stuff. Just talk about your stuff, Ryan.
What I usually like to talk about is my love for
R2D2.
Mountain Dew Zero.
Oh, Mountain Dew
and
R2D2.
That's my caffeine of choice. But also on my reading list now is the classic by Neil Stephenson, Snow Crash.
I'm reading Wicked, which is phenomenal. I'm a lifelong. Actually, you know what? That's a potential tattoo right there. I am a lifelong fan of Wizard of Oz, and I saw the movie Wicked. Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
I absolutely loved it. I don't care what people say. I just thought it was.
What
excellent.
Are people saying? Well, so did you have? Stupid. Are you pro sing along in the theater or anti sing along? You must.
I am pro sing along, as long as they offer it in two theaters, one that has it and one that doesn't, and that it's clearly marked. In that case, like, I'm all for it. I 100%.
That makes sense.
But the book is excellent. The only thing I'll say about the book that surprised me is it is definitely not for children.
Yeah,
actually quite.
And that's not
quite explicit.
I'm assuming those things are not in the film, though, right? The film is
no
PG, right?
No. Yeah. And the film is only part 1. Part 2 comes out next year. It's just awesome.
Are you kidding me? I feel like, why is every epic movie require a part 1 and a part 2 now?
I'll tell you why. Because they're competing with the fact that you've got shows like Squid Game or Silo, both of which are awesome. Season 2 Squid Game is fantastic. Don't believe the hype. People are lying. It's awesome. Silo is amazing. But you got to remember now that these movies that they base on books, right? Not movies, these shows are like, it's like a movie that's 10 hours long, because it's like 10 episodes, or 20 hours long. So you end up with this competition now in film, where an hour and a half or 2 hour film is no longer sufficient in some cases, something like Wicked, where you can't condense all of that down into one single. Now, they did it with the musical, but how and I don't know. I've never seen the musical, so I meaning the Broadway musical, so I don't know.
Right.
But you can't do it anymore. And honestly, I don't really have a problem with that, because it kind of extends it out and makes it more of a thing. And Wicked is doing it the right way, where they did part 1 this year, part 2 next year. It's not like there's a 3-year gap in between them. That would be a problem.
Right.
So I think it's just content competition. Okay. Anyway, you want to see what else I got?
I got to show you one more thing.
Oh.
So somebody gifted me a box to store all of my vinyl in.
Oh, and what's who's on the cover there? Who is that?
Well, it's like a British, like the the flag, right?
Aren't they?
But then it's got
Yes,
Avid
the Union
stickers.
Jack. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
it's got the
that's
Union Jack,
correct.
but
Yeah.
then it's got Avid stickers all over it.
Okay.
That were
Avid, huh?
already.
And you guys like them? I didn't know that
Yeah,
about
they're
you.
okay.
That's a new thing, right?
Speaking of Broadway musicals, though,
Yes.
so there's a couple of 2 or 3 vinyls that I think we should call out from this year.
Oh boy.
One is, here we go.
I've got a vinyl addict living in this
So
house.
this whole green screen thing is going to be.
So if you just hold it in front of you, like hold it down in front of you, we can see it.
There we go.
I think.
Right.
No. Yep. Just don't move.
Don't
move. I see it.
You see it. It exists.
I do. It exists. Now
so
it does
this
not.
vinyl, this is the Avett Brothers album that was released many, many years ago, but it has been released on vinyl for the first time. And the reason this is significant is because it is the album that they had a Broadway musical start this year. And the story is based on the album.
Is it good?
It's great. I saw it in DC on a smaller stage last year. And then it made it to the big time, to Broadway this year. But unfortunately, it was canceled after just 2 months. So they ended the run on December 29th. But they did something that's never happened, which is they announced their cancellation and then came back for got extended for 2 weeks. So really good show. I think it's going to hopefully be seen in some smaller venues coming up in the future.
Nice.
What else do you want to talk about with gifts and stuff? You got anything else?
I do.
I heard something about a phone.
I do. I got a tank phone. Do you know what a tank phone is?
Are you kidding me? Are you talking about from Matrix?
Yes. So if you have to call,
oh my god,
and get an exit, I can now call tank.
Dude, that is the phone I've wanted my whole life.
Yeah, it's awesome. I know.
Is it like a functioning Nokia type of phone, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's completely functioning. I mean, it doesn't have a SIM card in it because I'm just using it as like a prop. But it was funny. I was actually with a friend the other day, and he made some comment. I forget what it was, and I was like, "Oh man!" I'm like, and I just pulled the phone out of nowhere. I was like, "Hank, I need an extra." He was like, "Are you kidding me? Did you just bust out a Matrix phone?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Okay, not as cool, but
yeah, you can't really see, but the background is all matrixy.
I got new Crocs because I'm that guy, and I got apparently they have these things called jibbitz. So check this out, dude. The
Ryan
have Grogu,
Biles.
NC State, Carolina Hurricanes. So yeah, I can nerd out like all.
Well, you know what? You're nothing if not committed. You may have to be committed at some point, but you are nothing if not committed to your passions.
It's a discussion that's probably worthwhile.
Some discussion, yes. Some evaluation is probably the better term.
Some close observation. I'll give you that. Why don't we talk any more gift stuff, or you want to transition to talk about gaming a little bit?
No, let's go. I've got the ring that tells me everything, the coffee that gives me everything, and the phone that
your life is now complete.
I can get an exit out of the Matrix if I need it. I can just call up Tank or Dozer.
Good. I'm just going to sit over here and play with my Legos.
Okay,
play with my Legos.
No, let's go to gaming. I want to talk about gaming.
Let's talk about gaming. So look, we've talked about the Raleigh Retro Gamer thing before, but they had several pop-ups this year, and my haul stuff I'm playing now is I got an Evil Dead PlayStation 1.
Very nice.
Just because there's not many, I shouldn't say there's not many good horror games. There are, but something about the old school stuff gets me. And, the Evil Dead film series got rebooted. And so I just felt like this is a cool way to have a throwback. And this is actually a PlayStation 2 game. I was wrong.
I know you were wrong. I could tell you were wrong.
I'm always wrong.
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to embarrass you.
Okay.
But I did. I'm lying.
But
I want
a little bit of boomstick action. Can't go wrong there.
No, you can't. You can't. Do you shop smart? Do you shop S-Smart?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Always.
So you got that going for you, which is nice. What else you got?
I got one more. I've been playing. I got.
Is this Cthulhu?
Dark Forces original complete.
Wow!
For original PlayStation, classic. And look, this only costs $20.
Wow!
So they're doing a remake of this. Apparently, they're doing not a remake, but I think they're doing like both a upscaling. They'd like to upscale old games.
Yeah.
Redo the graphics.
Like
they're doing that
remaster
number on this, and then I think they're doing a full blown remake of sorts as well. But this is the
That's because
Still
Hollywood's
looking
out
for
of
that.
ideas. I also like they did that with a Ghostbusters game. They remastered it, and it was like, wow, it was awesome. And it was kind of a crappy game from a long time ago, and it was way better now. And there's other Ghostbusters games, but let's see. We have a barcade that we discovered in Worcester, Massachusetts,
Ooh.
called Free Play, which is, I mean, fantastic.
Nerd heaven.
Not, yeah, because I mean they just really did it well. So there's a lot of really good games. There's a lot of really good pinball. There's a lot. It's all free play.
Yeah.
And there's good. There's like a dance club. There's an outdoor area for me. It's just fun, man. And
Wow.
and they've just got a lot of really good games there. And you know me, I love that stuff so much. I build an
But you don't
arcade
get to
every
hear
year.
the satisfying clink of like the quarters going in there, right?
No, you
Or
don't.
do, or do they give you tokens, or is it just free
No,
play?
no, it's
For the
just
other?
everything's free play. It's just
Okay,
it's just
got it.
step up and go for it. It's awesome. Doing that, and then every Monday night with some friends from high school, I play Sea of Thieves, which is
So you're
we are
changing it
not
up.
we
You're
are
changing
not
it up
playing
because
that game the way we should be playing it. It is
your Monday
hysterical.
night used to be like Call of Duty or something, right?
It was oh my god, no, not Breakpoint. Oh my god, I can't think of the Wildlands. Oh my goodness.
I guess you've had a few, but you used
What
to
was the
do all
name
the
of the game?
You
It
used to
was
do all the in-game
Ghost
photography.
Recon. I had to
Ghost
Google
Recon,
it.
yes.
I'm like so tired and
So you're
crazy.
doing all the in-game photography stuff. So are you doing the same kind of wacky shenanigans inside Sea of Thieves?
It's just, dude, all it is wacky shenanigans. It was really fun the other night.
Sounds
My
epic.
my my buddy like finally learned how to spend a bunch of money in the game, and he buys this beautiful ship. It's all blue with the whole kind of like constellation stars theme to it. Really beautiful. Normally we're just on like regular ships, and most of the time we're just going around and like getting treasure, fighting people, and blowing each other up with exploding barrels. Like that. That's it. That's all we do, and then we just laugh and talk.
As you
And
do.
the other night he spends all this money, gets this ship, beautiful ship, puts a huge amount of effort into it. Everything's all ready to go. It looks great. We get everybody on board. We're all like, oh my god, this is amazing. He calls it your mom's ship, but okay. And we sail it out, and within like just a matter of minutes, a sea monster just comes up, grabs it, and just pulls it underwater.
Nice.
Just destroys it. It was hysterical. But that's it. The thing
That's
about
what
Sea of
happens. That's
Thieves I
part of the
like,
danger of being on the open seas. I mean,
that's part of the danger of being on the open seas. The thing I love about Sea of Thieves most of all, more than the gameplay, more than the fact that it's just a virtual poker table for me to hang out with my friends because we're all distributed, right? Is it is absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful game. The storms, the sunsets, the sunrises, the islands, the places you go. There are many times where, like, I'm usually up in the crow's nest spotting out while we all have these little jobs that we take on, and it's spectacular. I mean, it's a really, really beautiful game, and every time there's a new release or an update, it just gets more and more beautiful. So, like, the fact that like we're not really, there's not these like complex adventures we're going on, which there are quests, and I'm sure there is a lot of that we could do. Um, but for us, it's more just like a virtual way of hanging out, and in
yeah,
that beautiful universe it's just an
cozy
astounding
gaming.
game.
It's kind of like
It's
cozy
cozy
gaming.
gaming,
I
man.
feel like the cozy gaming fad is not a fad. I think it's here to stay for like
It's
community building and like you said, just hanging out.
it's cozy gaming, yeah. And I'm I'm
So
I'm I'm toying with the idea of there's a new Game Boy um, device out there called a chromatic,
mm,
which upscales the games and backlights the games. And because I've
yeah, yeah.
brought it up many times on the show that I still have my original Game Boy and I still have all of my cartridges and I have all that. But the problem with that is these devices are getting old.
Yep.
And when you try to use a Game Boy and it's not backlit, not so great. But
Right.
the chromatic looks, sounds, functions exactly like a Game Boy, but it upscales them. So there are some. The thing I really like is that they are engaging our generation by saying, "Hey, we know the limitations of the technology at the time. We fix that." And there's a lot of really, really cool examples of that out there, and I just think that's great. Pocket. What's it called? I forget. There's another one that came out that's really, really good that upscales all the Game Boy games, but it actually uses the cartridges. It's not emulators. It's like it's the actual cartridges.
I like that.
I like Analog Pocket, I think it's called. And they're really, really cool, So
that's
because there's so much of that physical media out there. Like
I like that. So physical media, that's one thing I wanted
to
talk about. Is like it's roaring back, but in some areas, like I love there's a gaming store, a retro everything. It's not even just gaming. They have like comic books and anime and manga, and they have old toys. And this store is called Magpie. Magpie and Crow, I think, here in Wake Forest, and it's just I could go in there and spend hours. You find
we have that here. It's called That's Entertainment. There's the one that's near me is smaller but cool, really cool. A little bit more comic book focused in tabletop gaming.
Okay.
The one in Worcester is massive, and I mean, you go in there and you see like original full Voltron sets and like every GI Joe and Transform, like Optimus Prime is standing. I mean, and every thousands of cartridges for every discs or whatever for every video game system, and then just rows and rows of vinyl and comic books and toys, and it's just like, oh my god. And so it's one of those places where it's like I can't go there anymore.
There's also like just cool new stuff too, though. Like they have a whole section now in this store, Magpie and Crow, where they have 3D printed Pokemon figures that are like like any character you can imagine.
That's cool. Let's talk about music.
Let's talk about music.
Tell me about Silent Disco and Grub Market. Tell me what is I see
Silent Disco.
What does that bullet mean? I mean, I know what a silent disco is, but
I guess people know what a silent disco is. You could also see it as they call them silent parties now too, because apparently maybe disco is not the coolest word for all the young hipsters. But a silent disco is essentially you wear headphones like I've got on, but you're able to switch the channel. Like different DJs are spinning different, essentially styles of music or whatever. So you're dancing in silence with a bunch of other people. But the cool thing is you end up switching and the colors on your headphones change to the channel you're on. And so you get these like bands of people that get on the same channel, and you're not only grooving, dancing, whatever, slamming to the same song.
It's a good experience.
Then you become singing. You're singing. So then if you like pop your headphones off for a sec, you hear somebody belting out Queen or whatever is on at any given moment. So we have a lot of fun with those. And
I saw that, Ryan, at AWS reInvent. I had to go and audit their event. Yes. And I saw it there. They used it in many different scenarios, including entertainment, but also for simulcast and different ways of presenting sessions. We're totally going to bring it to our event. It's just a really, really, really cool thing. But I'm excited to use it both for technical session content, but also fun.
Yes.
And I just think it's really cool. Tell me about Geek and Grub Market. What's Geek and Grub Market?
Geek and Grub Market is they were one of the vendors that shows up to some of the Raleigh Retro Gaming events, but they also do their own monthly event. You essentially show up and you pay for different types of potions while there's like so potions meaning the potion bottle. I've actually got one. I'm gonna go grab it real quick.
All right, while Ryan's gone, let's talk about.
So how there's
never mind, he's back.
How there's butterbeer like down at Universal. So imagine that, but they have different flavors, and then they put them in potion bottles. And I got a 20-sided die topper to put on mine, plus the leather carrying case, and now I can put it on my belt and be like a druid or something.
Sure.
But it's a way to immerse yourself. And so they have themes every month. So they have like anime month, and then they have like book lovers month, and then they have like Lord of the Rings month, or different themes every month. So it's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
So that's one of the things that I got introduced to over the summer. And then this idea spawned my whole Halloween concept, which I dressed up as a Viking and have like a bunch of pouches, like leather pouches on my belt, and like a shirt that was like 3D printed chainmail. It just looked like those things. Anyhow,
I like it.
I think you could have that vibe because
I could have that vibe.
You've got the sleeve now. You've got the
Utilikilt. I
You
do.
probably got like 20 of those now.
I wear a lot of those. I do wear a lot of the kilts.
Standard operating procedure for you.
That is.
Talk to me
Hey, look,
about,
man, when you're working a long day at a
yeah,
technical conference, there is no better. You want to wear jeans all day and be uncomfortable? Go for it. You wanna wear a suit
I think
and
that's
look like
very
a suit?
logical.
Go for it. You want to be comfortable, happy, breezy, and fun? Kilts. There you go. With underwear.
Keep it fresh.
Just full disclosure.
Tell me about, you say
people cannot
you're
help themselves but ask about that.
rediscovering Phish.
I
What does that
am.
mean?
I mean, look, I never like lost touch with
Yeah.
my love of Phish. That has been a thing since I was in high school, I guess. But this summer, my son and I went and saw them at, which for people in Massachusetts, we call it Great Woods. You kids
Yeah.
probably know it as Xfinity Center because at some point they
Right.
changed the name 10 times. It used to be Tweeter Center, then it was this center and that center. We still call it. I don't know why they don't go back.
We
and
have
call
a
it
venue
Great
like
Woods.
that here too.
Yeah, it's just the best. It's in Mansfield, Massachusetts. Beautiful venue. Has not changed at all. It looks exactly like it did when I used to go see Phish there all the time when I was a wee college lad floating through life on different chemicals. But we went and saw Phish this year. And, I recently heard an interview with John Fishman, drummer for the band. And he said that, he's one of the things that he does as a musician to study other musicians, and they talk and they meet and they get together and they really acknowledge like when different bands went through peaks and valleys, and they kind of study that, like what was it that brought them up, what was it that took them down, right? And he was acknowledging, he's like, I actually think right now we're in a peak. And I got to tell you, Ryan, they are. The show that we saw was so fantastic. And what's really funny is, so for those of you who like Phish, you probably know they play 2001, right? Also Zach Thruster or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
You would know the music if you heard it. And so I just happened to, I mean, like, I don't know what they're going to play, but I happened to wear my HAL 9000 shirt that I have. And then they played 2001 and I was like, I'm wearing the fucking t-shirt. But it was awesome. And, my son really loves them. And it's just really kind of kicked up my or reinvigorated my appreciation for them, and getting past only listening to the songs that I used to listen to them. And then it gets into my other point here, which is sort of converting my old college radio shows. I go back to my university every year and I get on the air for 1 or 2 hours as part of their homecoming weekend. I do a show called The Freezer. Won't you step into the freezer, which is of course a Phish lyric, right, from Tweezer Reprise. I do the show called The Freezer, and I always open up with Tweezer Reprise. And my son used to do the same thing when he was on his college radio station. So there's the rediscovery, the connection, having something in common.
There's something about experiencing that music together.
Yeah, it just really
that gives a different meaning.
Exactly, and it really kind of just brought that back, and so that's what I've been listening to. Tell me about
awesome.
Tell me about Ava Moon. It looks like the 100th show. Oh, folks, Ryan has left again.
Wardrobe
so we're
change.
Talk about, oh, wait, no, he's back. Oh, wardrobe change. Oh, that was impressive.
So I had to put on my Ava Moon hat. Compliments of the Moon Crush, the Tupelo Live folk, Topeka Live crew that puts on this.
Know what that means? Because I don't think
you're not. Topeka Live puts on these music festivals in Florida and other places. Such nice people, such amazing care for just coolest like group event I've been to. Anyhow, Avits put on their own version of it this year.
Where was it?
It was down in Florida in the sort of PCB Destin area. So in the Panhandle, almost at the Alabama border.
Wow.
But it was in early November, so it was beautiful time to be down there with the warm weather. I was celebrating my 100th show of going to see this band. So anyhow, but the rest of the festival is great. Not a bad act. Really fun. Really fun. The highlight though.
Tank, I need an exit. Sorry.
Yes, I know.
I swear to God, dude, like,
the Topeka people.
When I'm not
listen to this. Listen to this. The Topeka people were so cool that they arranged for me, another woman who it was also her 100th show, happened to be the same night, and another couple who somehow it was theirs. They brought us up on stage to introduce the band. in front of, whatever it was, 5,000 to 7,000 people.
Okay.
So, nerd alert. Yes.
That is really, really cool. And I did have an experience. My partner Jojo and I got to get on stage a couple of times during our conference, and we opened up for I don't know if I'd say we opened up like we performed, but we did a little shtick to open up for a band called the Spasmatics, which were so much fun. An 80s kind of cover band, but they were just fantastic. And that was that. It is a different perspective when you're up there in front of a few thousand people.
Well, and that was the cool. That was the neat thing. Is like I feel like my tech conference confidence, or you know how you used to say when I was at events, like I would get quiet and just become dialed in.
Yes. You totally did.
Totally happened for me, and I was totally cool, and it felt like that rush, but I was like totally chill. And the woman, friend of mine, Jen Spiegel, like she's normally like the outgoing, crazy, bubbly. She like freaked out and she like blanked out and was like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna say?" And we were like having to rehearse. And you probably know this from radio and from presenting. Like the guy, the producer of the show,
you got to have it down together.
He brought us up there and he was like, "Well, you all got to do a soft intro, they call it. Like it's not you're not bringing them on stage, but you're getting the crowd hyped.
Yeah, that's
like
what we did.
Getting ready for them, right? Yeah. And so that was a whole thing. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Fun though.
All right, we've got a few too many music topics here, so you get to pick. You get to pick two more.
I can do one more.
Do one more.
I just want to give a shout out for so Abe Partridge is a interesting character, let's say. If you go check out his website, abepartridge.com, there's 500 pressings of a new album it's a gospel album, but he describes it as a weird, fun, it's kind of a weird take on it. He teamed up with a musician here in North Carolina named David Childers, and they had their band, The Serpents. It's really like a cool art project. David's son did the cover art, produced the whole record. Abe's son, Wyatt, it's his first record he's ever been on. So it was very much like a family coming together at David's house to record this sort of secret project. And then they released it on New Year's Day. So I want everybody to go check it out. They've got videos on YouTube already of all the songs. It's really interesting, kind of like you would love this, Graeme, because one of the songs is about you've got to pray to your leaders when the UFOs come to take us all or something. It's really eclectic and really kind of got a fun,
cool.
kind of wacky vibe to it. And I know you'll like the visuals for it.
I like wacky and fun. Why don't you
throw abepartridge.com, check it out.
Yeah, why don't you toss that up as a card real quick, abepartridge.com, so we can see that on the screen. And while you do that, we're going to shift over to talking a little bit about entertainment. So I just recently saw a movie for the first time, folks, while Ryan is getting abepartridge.com on the screen. There's a sequel coming out to it, but I had never seen the original. And in our notes for this show, Ryan says that it's a hard to find film, and it was hard to find. There we go. Yeah. abepartridge.com, Satan, you're a liar. So
the title, even the title itself is an enigma of like, what does this mean, right?
Yeah, I thought those were typos, but I like it. Anyway, we got that out there. But the film is 28 Days Later, and I just saw it for the very first time. I've never seen it before.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Wow.
So, okay.
Wow.
I have the DVD. I saw it in the theater when it first came out. I have the DVD. But the film, tell me, what is your impression? Because I got to hear now that I know that you just saw it for the first time.
First of all, I was impressed at the production's ability to make London look abandoned. I know how they did it. I've read the backstory about how they did all that. I thought it was great. I thought, is it Cillian?
I think it's Cillian Murphy. This is when
Cillian
he
Murphy.
was
really his
unknown.
breakout role. Yeah, he was unknown. I think he was amazing. I mean, he's incredible. I mean, for the 2 minutes he was on screen in Tron Legacy, for God's sakes, he was incredible.
He's at the pinnacle now.
Yeah. But I thought it was really, really good. I think the thing that really that I thought was very clever, because the reason I never saw it is everybody described it as just another zombie movie, but like that it's not really.
Right.
It's really a story of survival and of determination and of, love, quite frankly,
Right.
for his family. And then with well, I'm not going to ruin it for people. But the thing
Yep.
that I thought was very clever was how the rage gets out in the first place with
Right.
the environmentalists trying to release the monkeys, which that's not spoiling anything. Because folks, if you haven't seen the movie, you're going to see
Yep.
that in the first 30 seconds.
Very
So it doesn't
much like
matter.
a 12 Monkeys kind of vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool because it reminded me of The Stand, the mini series. Not the recent movie was also good, or the
Yep.
recent remake of the series was good, but the Stand from the '90s with um, Gary Sinise and Molly Ringwald, which was so good. If you haven't seen
Yep.
it, the whole series, by the way, folks, is on YouTube. You can see it. Awesome. But remember that one opened up with the release of Captain Trips, and
Yep.
they play Don't Fear the Reaper. So
Yep.
anyway, I thought 28 Days Later was really, really good, and I think there's a 28 Weeks Later that I
There
don't
is.
know.
So there was a
Okay,
sequel.
yeah,
The sequel goes in a completely different direction, not to spoil anything, but it's about a
yeah.
different set of people and maybe the children. So there's a different vibe.
But I'm
It
excited for
also
28 Years Later.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
is the vibe of 28 Days Later was very much like an indie film that was filmed on a camcorder. And that was intentional. I mean, like you said,
Okay.
you read kind of like the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
very much meant to be, and that was very in vogue at the time of like found footage
Yeah.
films.
Yep.
This is not one of those, but it has
Nope.
that vibe of like it's rough around the edges.
Yep.
But now 28 years later, we'll have Cillian Murphy apparently return to the film. He was not in the sequel. And then Ralph Fiennes is also a co-star, and then some
Yeah.
other folks I don't
Who's
recognize. But
amazing.
28 years later,
Yeah.
this is the third movie. It was filmed entirely, apparently, with an iPhone 15 Pro Max, like a camera phone. So I wonder what that's going to add to the production, or I think that's intentionally a throwback to 28 Days Later with it filming
I
like
think so.
feeling like it was filmed on
Feeling
a
like it was filmed on a
camcorder.
camcorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. I think the other important thing to take away from this film, 28 years later, is that, oh my God, we're getting really old, and
Yes.
wow. So
Is it
there's also
actually
that.
28 years since? Like, I got to look. Hang on. When was this movie made?
Well, goodness,
2000, and the DVD says 2003.
Oh,
So
no,
yeah, it's 28.
no,
Actually,
no,
20
dude, that's not
years.
math. Yeah,
So it's not.
yeah.
So it's not 28 years later, but rough. Like, well,
No, but I get it. Like close enough. Close
ish,
enough. Close enough
ish.
to
Yeah,
still make us feel old.
ish.
So excited about that. Next topic is Superman Legacy. Now,
Oh boy.
I have feelings about this trailer.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I wasn't so sure. And then the second time I watched it, I really liked it. I
Oh boy.
really like crypto.
Oh
I
boy.
really like where they're going with this. I think he's got the original S from the comics. I think he's really going back to a real early version of Superman. And I have faith in James Gunn. I'm excited about this film. There's a lot of Hawkman and Mr. whatever his name is, or Hawk Girl or lady or
Yeah.
woman, or I don't know what it is. And there's
It's
a Green
Hawk
Lantern,
person. Get it right.
Hawk person, and there's Green Lantern in it. So you know what, dude, is like, sure,
I will give
I'm
it. I
gonna
will give
watch
it
it.
to you that Green Lantern, played by what's his name, Nathan.
And fill in.
Oh my God.
Fill in. I don't know, whatever. We're a
That's
couple of
no
nerds who don't
CG.
really know
That's just a
shit.
bad haircut, right? I mean,
But
he looked
that's the way he looks.
amazing.
See, this is the thing,
Yeah.
is like he went back to the source material and then pulled it forward. And like I love I mean, first of all, I loved when the dog is running through the snow and it's just like it looks like a train moving through the snow, and then all of a sudden the dog is there. Now I want to see this in the context of the film, right?
Yeah.
Because like it looked like a dog in a cape looks stupid to us now. I get that. But in the context of the film, James Gunn, this man knows what he's doing. This man has made some really, really, really amazing films with amazing people. And I think this will be no exception. So at
Okay.
first,
I
I
have
was
to do
like,
another.
ugh.
I have to do another wardrobe change for a sec
Oh
here.
boy. Okay. Hold on, folks. We're doing a wardrobe change here. What do we got
Just
here?
because my reaction
What
is
am
a
I
little
looking at?
different from yours.
That's okay. You're entitled to your own
I'm gonna
opinions.
say.
I mean, we want to pay attention to them.
Sorry. This is my limited edition DCEU, I guess, Man of Steel, Justice League.
Okay. All right.
The Snyderverse, if you will, T-shirt.
Okay.
Good cause.
Mr. Boyles, let's get you back
goes
to bed.
Suicide prevention, but suicide prevention, very important. So goes to a good cause. Jim Lee actually illustrated this, who's the president of DC. My
By the way,
reaction
speaking
is,
of DC, I want to hear your reaction,
right.
and then we're going to pivot to something else that I think we're both very upset about.
I'm not a fan. So anyway, I loved Crypto. I do not like what they're doing with Superman or Lois, and I just don't. It's not clicking for me. The suit, nothing about it's clicking for me. So we'll see. That's the best I can say for now, because I'm still really, really bitter over them getting rid of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he's awesome in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
You're right. Film. He's awesome in everything. And so my point is, I feel awesome like they sort of did him dirty. That's all.
Yeah. I need your opinion on. God, it pains me to just even say this out loud.
Yeah.
Batman 2 delayed till 2027. Oh. I thought we were getting it late next year, early 2026, and now we got to wait. Like, I don't even know if we're going to have a plan.
Here's my problem with all these projects.
Their government's dying.
All these projects where they want it to be a trilogy, they want it to be a franchise, but yet they take 10 years between the films.
I know.
It's not sustainable. Not in today's today's like Netflix world, right?
Yeah,
like
and that because we've talked about this on the show before, that I think that's one of the best versions of Batman we've ever seen. I mean, he's a detective, which is what he's supposed to be. The Batmobile was easily one of the coolest things to ever grace the silver screen. I mean, that was just like, oh my God.
And then him Kingpin as series. I mean,
which I'm watching now, which is fantastic.
Oh my God.
So I mean, look, I'm sure this is one of these things where it's like you find out later, you're like, oh, so-and-so was off making that movie or this movie, or there was this contract dispute, or the writer's thing screwed it all up, or whatever.
The internet is abuzz with reasons why. We don't know why, but I hope the reason is not that there's this rumor that James Gunn wants to pull this version of the Batman into his universe.
That's what I've heard.
I think that's a big mistake. I think it's not going to work. I think
Can you
it
ask
needs
Kermit?
To be
Kermit there behind you. What does Kermit think?
Hey, Kirby. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
I'm very disappointed.
Give me the Batman, but they also delayed apparently the first Batman film that was going to be in this new DCU was called Brave and Bold, The Brave and the Bold. And it was based on a different comic book series that has Batman, but apparently now that's been, I don't know if it's shelved or delayed or not, but that tells you, that's warning signs that they're trying to like do some movements. So we'll see.
Because they know the world's going to end. They don't want to waste time.
I know, right?
Talk about another thing that's been delayed that I'm starting to get frustrated with, and I wore my T-shirt today to show my support. But
and you should.
I'm a huge fan of Tron, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
No,
if there was a religion based on that, that is a church I would go to.
What's that?
And now, like, are we ever going to see a trailer for Tron Ares? I mean, they've wrapped filming. And they displayed a Tron Ares trailer at some Comic-Con or Disney Con or whatever the hell con.
D23 or something.
Yeah. That's a D23. So like when are we going to see a trailer? I just recently had my semi bi-monthly, every other whatever quarterly viewing of Tron and Tron Legacy, paying attention to different things I've never seen before. Fantastic. Just fantastic. But like, where is Tron Ares? I am very encouraged by that film. I'm encouraged by what it's about. I'm encouraged by who's in it, but I want to see the trailer. You know what I also did? I also went back and watched the original Tron Legacy test footage that they showed at Comic-Con in like 2009. Wow. Yeah. Even that still looks great. So
here's the question for all these films that have such a wide gap. So the Batman, Tron, there's many others, but when they have such a long gap between the sequels, how can they not only maintain interest, but even just the vibe and the aesthetic and the everything that's going to go into a film like that, I think is going to get lost, because everybody making it, like the director, the producers, the actors, everybody, like, how much does your life change in 10 years? Like a lot, right? So it really worries me that that these things just lose momentum, and it's also just a disservice to the fans that are like, hey, I just want the thing. We're telling you we want the thing. Give us the thing. Like this is what we want.
Just
They
give
always
us the thing.
like they're torturing themselves in these studios to figure out what we want to pay for. We're telling you, hello.
Yeah, but where's the trailer? Like so I don't know if maybe they looked at it and they were like, "Oh no, this is terrible and we have to fix a bunch of stuff," or
Yeah.
maybe the CGI is taking much longer to do, which is fair. I mean, I'm really excited about the soundtrack and everything else, but it's like just just tell us what's
Who's it
going
gonna
on.
be? Daft Punk has broken up in the meantime.
I know.
They'll
All
have
right,
to find somebody else, I guess.
let's get through a couple of other things here, and then we'll wrap
Yeah.
it up. One more quick thing for me. I mentioned Silo earlier, which if you haven't seen
Yep.
Silo season 1, season 2, my God,
I
people get
haven't.
out there, watch Silo. Silo is tremendous. The second season of Severance comes out on January 17th.
Ooh.
Very excited about that. I
Yep.
just learned that earlier today, and I saw Transformers 1, which is surprisingly good.
Really?
Yeah,
So I was holding back.
It is a good movie.
So you know what? I was a big fan, and I got another musical note here. Big fan of Transformers. I've loved all the films, even when they've been clunky or whatever, or whoever. They're just, I love the Transformer films.
2007 is the best.
I read the Transformer comic books.
Oh my God,
and G.I. Joe comic books were like the first comic books that I grew up on.
Yeah, I have number 1 in the house and like a.
So I'm OG
sealed
Transformers fan, and
Oh, heck yeah.
I looked at this film, and it looked like a kid's afternoon special to me. So
No,
I'm really worried.
So you should see it. So first of all, it's another one of these movies where they have made it for a multi-generational audience. It's beautiful. Cybertron and everything just looks absolutely incredible. It's kind of an origin story of Optimus and Megatron, and it works. It works. But what's really cool is the amount of Easter eggs in it that people like us who are Transformers diehard fans from when we were kids,
Now
there's a ton of Easter eggs in it. You got to really pay attention though. And there's just some really fun stuff in there. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I think you would really like
it.
Streaming. So
yeah, that's how I saw it.
All right.
That's how I saw it.
I will check it out. So speaking of that though, I got to give another musical note. You know how Linkin Park's music has become like synonymous with going along with the Optimus Prime monologue or prologue or epilogue or whatever he does during these films. It's become a meme at this point. Linkin Park got back together this year with a new lead singer, which led to some controversy we won't talk about on the show, but I bought tickets to go see Linkin Park live in Raleigh in the spring. I'm really excited.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, now on that note, the last time I did the freezer in October for Bridgewater State University, I finished my set by taking Optimus Prime's speech and changing it into being an alumni at Bridgewater. And then I ended the show and it kicks right into what I've done. And I didn't think anybody would pick up on it. And I walked out of the studio.
People are probably clapping outside hearing that.
and the rewrite was perfect. It was really, really good. And it ends like we are here, we are waiting, right? And it was all that kind of stuff.
That is
and I walked out of the studio and this guy's like, dude, did you just do Optimus Prime's speech from Transformers? And I was like, thank you.
Exactly. That's amazing.
It was.
Well, let's end it on this. I got one last thing.
Okay.
I think
your one last
we're
thing.
Talking about Superman. We're talking about where DC is going, and they seem to be the focus because Marvel kind of feels like they're trying to figure out what to do next. I'm not sure, but anyhow, I want to highly recommend the documentary Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. So get ready. I mean, get your tissues ready, get your blankets, get your emotional support, Squishmallow or whatever you need, because this film is going to affect
phone.
Yeah, you could.
Hey, whatever it takes, man.
Documentary about Christopher Reeve and his life. I don't know. It's gonna really affect you. And for anybody, like us that grew up on Christopher Reeve as our Superman, and honestly, he was the first.
No, not as ours, as the.
Good point.
Everyone else can be. Brandon Ruth was great. Henry Cavill's awesome. This new guy.
Hearing it through the point of
Christopher
view.
Reeve was the best of all time. He'll never be surpassed.
It's got recordings of him intermixed with a lot of storytelling from his family and friends and those around him before and after the accident. Nice. And just to hear how he took the role so serious and it became something that they didn't think was possible and he made it real. Like it, to me, that part plus just him with the pivot that he had to make to inspire other people. I mean, he really is the Superman.
That's awesome. Well, Ryan, you're my Superman. And don't tell me I'm your Lex Luthor. That'll be a real problem for me.
Oh, no. I think I'm the Lex Luthor.
Oh, you are the Lex Luthor. You shaved your head.
So
you can
the
be
week's
the Lex.
end poll of the day. Is this more of a Lex Luthor thing or a Kingpin thing? I guess it depends on if
I guess Kingpin. You think
so?
You do look like Kingpin.
Fair enough.
So.
We'll
listen, man, you keep rocking it at AMD. I'll keep bringing it at IBM, our three-letter acronym companies. And in the meantime, I'm hoping that by mentioning Tron Ares on this program will result in the studio being like, oh my God, we have to put the trailer out tomorrow.
You're willing it into existence.
Graeme talked about it. So I'm hoping, because this is your leading source of useless nerd knowledge, and it is our second show in 2 years.
Yeah, well, you know.
In a year.
We're going to do 2025 is the year where we may do 3 shows.
We might actually do 2 or 3 shows in this entire year. That would be extraordinary. But it's good to see you, buddy. And
yes, sir.
Thanks for joining me to talk a little bit about this stuff. And hey, folks, if you got something out there that you think is really useless, we really want to know.
We'll probably want to talk about it. We love you.
We'll probably want to talk about it.
All right. Oh, Graeme.
All right, buddy.